All right, here we are this morning. We're going to show a little makeup on a Streetlight handhole. Go ahead and test the conductor and get started on stripping and crimping. So what do we have here for wiring?
Wiring, you have a 240 circuit. Obviously 2 hots, 1 ground. Right now, test the 1 hot at a time. Obviously you want 0 volts, but with the reading, if it was hot, you would get 120 out of both of them.
How do you know which ones you're in and you're out on this?
You're in, it's easy to tell. Usually your bigger conduit will be your in, your load, your line. You have your line right here, and then your load going to the pole.
See the 1 inch, it goes directly into the pole. Okay. And so you don't need to test that one. So, and it's a similar system in Menifee, Hemet, San Jacinto, Temecula. They all run almost identical underground systems and circuitry systems. The only variation is the voltages. And so the smaller pipe is only coming from this handhole going to here. It doesn't go anywhere else.
Correct.
Okay. So is there a reason why you splice a certain way?
No, for me it's however I like to work. I like to splice all the wires, and once I splice them, I'll just connect them all, crimp them, and then rubber them.
Which one do you crimp first?
I usually like to crimp the ground. That's just kind of electrical.
Standard procedure.
Yeah, standard procedure.
Why do you do that? What's the reason for collecting, ground first?
Usually when you do it hot, you do your ground, and then you just make sure everything's grounded after that. Because if you do hot right away, everything's gonna be hot. It's not.
You're close.
Yeah.
What's the?
The ground can also carry it can also be a conductor.
Yeah. It's also your safety net, so it's going to go somewhere. It'll go through that ground instead of you. So you want to have it grounded first, and then your hots after. If you have a neutral system, it's ground, neutral, and hot. A and B is optional, but that's the order. Taken apart the same way. Go back to hots first, neutral second, ground last. So I was asking more about splicing on the wires. Is there a reason why I don't want to cut off some of those wires when I'm getting crazy? I'm splicing real fast, and I start taking off strands of the copper, in this case, aluminum if it was aluminum wires. Why don't I want to reduce those wires?
It could affect the.
It can affect the voltage.
Yeah.
Affect the voltage?
The,
So if I cut off half of the wires and I check down at that side, I'm not going to read 120 on one line or two.
it could reduce. It
240
could
from.
reduce, it could reduce the voltage of it. It can do a voltage drop.
Yeah, more importantly, it'll reduce the availability of the amp flow through the wires.
Yeah, so you may get a false reading down there and see it says 120, and then you have a false hope thinking everything's fine. But as Sean said, 100% correct. It's not carrying the amps or the current that it's required at the other side.
It'll create a hot spot at the splice over time and create a failure. So, or if they ever max out the circuit in amps, it'll burn it up, because now that 8 gauge has been reduced to 7.5 or 6 and a smaller size.
Knowing that knowledge, it puts it to another level of when I'm splicing, I'm careful that I don't want to see a piece go off, go, shoot, should I shorten the wire down and cut more? Because I want to keep that thing. They've made it a gauge for a reason, to carry a certain amount of amps down the line. I wonder, when you splice, you use a stripper on yours, or what's your preferred method?
It's a mix of both. This wire is the sheathing. It's a little bit different than your regular THHN. So I use a wire stripper, or I use a knife depending on how the weather is. Once it's hot, it kind of works a little bit better with the stripper. It is very critical to keep your wires separated just the way he's doing it. Only reason being is because once you tidy everything up, it makes it look like you know what you're doing. It doesn't look like spaghetti.
After you crimp it, you always want to tug test it, make sure it's on there good.
Always being careful to pull one conductor from each conduit so as not to cross phase it. It's easy to get them mixed up when you get in a hurry and when they're all the same color. So it something to keep in mind. Once you grab some insulation and start insulating the ones he's not crimping.
Is that just regular tape you're using on that, electrical tape?
This is rubberized tape. It's to insulate the copper fitting. Now this is regular electrical tape, 33.
It's standard OSHA and NEC code. Replace the insulation with rubberized tape, one complete coat, and then you need 3 complete wraps of the 33. And so they go across once with it and then back again and then a third time. Generally it works best. You can do a loose wrap on the first one. The second one you do a little tighter, and on the third wrap you go tightest, and that eliminates all the wrinkles or any little pinholes where moisture can get in.
Nice.
Just in case. Mostly we use this 130C tape, and it's rated up to 1,000 volts.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's over and above what's needed.
And is there a reason why you tape the grounds?
That's a city spec. So any insulated grounds we tape. We do have ground bond wires in the pole that we don't insulate. The bare copper crimp on that.
The last step is just Scotch coating.
What's that do?
It creates a seal. This is actual
Waterproofing.
seal. Yeah.
So that's
So you got the rubber, the tape, and then this over top of that thing's sealed good.
it's triple layered. It's insulated better than the factory wire.
Nice.
So, which is needed because
And this one was the only one that wasn't a trick question, because I've never seen this one done.
it works for all kinds of good stuff. Splice is actually more durable and more waterproof than the factory wire.
That's wild.
Yeah. So once you let it set it on the side and let it dry out. If you're in a hurry, you can pour cold water on it, and it
dry
dries
up
the
then.
Scotch coat a little bit better. But we'll let it dry before we roll it up and put it back in the box. So you can just set it down. Yeah. That way it doesn't stick to each other.
All right, what do we got here?
Just get it open. This is how they come. And you got your 2 fuses right here. Put them in. Right there, they just stay right there.
How long do these fuses last for? Sidebar question.
They don't have a rating, but they'll last.
Have you ever had to go out and replace them?
Usually there's moisture involved with that. They don't just wear out. I've installed systems that fuses don't burn out for 10 plus years.
Nice.
So It's really just a precaution to protect the LED driver for any kind of surges.
The stripper has entered the chat.
When stripping, like you guys said, you want to be careful you don't nick the wires and stuff like that.
So what gauge wire are you using?
This is number 8 wire.
Does that stripper have a setting for 8? Nice.
So on these fuse kits, you have 2 sides. You have your load side and your line side. So your load side obviously goes to the pull drops.
Fuse kit will function even when it's installed upside down.
That's what I was going to ask you. Is there, when it says line and load on there, but it'll still operate the same?
It'll function the same, but when you open it up to check the fuses, then you're left with live fuses
Right.
exposed, and so it can be dangerous that way. So
integrity still comes into play.
yeah,
Do it right.
do it right, even if it takes twice.
Key is we're always watching out for the next guy.
Absolutely, because it'll be me
Yeah.
coming in to check these guys' work. So
Is that the adage, cut 3 times, measure once?
Yeah. One of those things.
yeah,
A little backwards.
I've cut it 3 times. It's still too short.
Not a whole lot extra room there, is there?
Now, and we insulate inside the pole the same as in the handhole, even though it's really not a wet location. But that's per most city specs, and more importantly, that's the safest way to do it. Yeah, the double fuse kits can be a little tedious. Single ones are a lot easier, for sure.
Yep.
So. Now that the insulation, the Scotch coat's dried, you just put a little roll in this, flip it around, tuck it down inside. You want to try and keep the splices up off the bottom of the box. It's still a little bit tacky, but it's dry enough you can put it back in there. So, and then lock the box down.
So the last part, same thing, you gotta Scotch coat it. So what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and grab the ground, just tuck it in nice and pretty. Tuck it in the very back. Let it dry for a minute, and then what I like to do is I'll just grab it like this, kind of give it like a little pretzel shape, and just push it in, straight in. But since it's still wet, I'll let it dry for a minute. And that's it. You're all done.
Very nice. Thank you, gentlemen.
The world is a brighter place now because of you.